Have you ever been caught off guard by someone you thought you knew? Maybe a friend, colleague, or even a loved one surprised you, leaving you questioning their true nature. In a world filled with polished social media profiles, well-crafted words, and surface-level interactions, it's easy to misjudge who someone truly is. But what if there were subtle clues, patterns of behavior that reveal a person's character, no matter how carefully they try to conceal it? The Stoics, renowned for their timeless wisdom, understood that true character is not about what we claim to be, but what we consistently show through our actions. As Marcus Aurelius famously said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Actions, not appearances, define us. In this guide, we'll uncover the 5 behaviors that unveil someone's true essence, behaviors that Stoic philosophers mastered to discern integrity from pretense. These are the principles that help us see through facades, understand human nature, and even reflect on our own actions, ready to gain a deeper understanding of the people around you, and perhaps even yourself. Let's dive into the wisdom of Stoicism and learn to see clearly. Which of these traits do you think reveals the most about someone? Share your thoughts below as we begin this transformative journey together. Step 1. How they treat those who can't help them. Imagine this. You're sitting at a restaurant, observing a well-dressed executive engrossed in conversation with their colleagues. The server approaches with a warm smile, offering water. Without breaking stride, the executive waves them off dismissively, barely acknowledging their presence. The moment passes quickly, unnoticed by most, but it reveals something profound. How someone treats those who can't offer them anything in return. A server, a janitor, a stranger on the street, speaks volumes about their character. The Stoics understood this long ago. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest philosophers and emperors of Rome, reminded us, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." This principle encourages us to act from a place of integrity and kindness, irrespective of the other person's status or behavior. Actions like these define true character, not what someone says about their values, but what their smallest actions reveal. Let's dive deeper. Why do these seemingly insignificant moments matter so much? Psychologists argue that when there's no incentive, no chance for a reward, recognition, or benefit, people act based on their genuine nature. Stripped of pretense, their behavior toward those who hold no power over them becomes a window into their true selves. Would you trust someone who shows great respect to their boss, but is rude to a barista? Such inconsistencies hint at values based on opportunism rather than principle. Take Daniel, for example. A senior manager at a multinational firm, Daniel prided himself on being a people person. But during a team lunch at a busy cafe, his mask slipped. Frustrated by a minor delay, he scolded the waiter loudly, blaming them for his own poor mood. A teammate later recounted the incident, saying, "I couldn't unsee that. It made me question how Daniel truly views people who don't benefit him directly." This story forces us to ask, are our actions in everyday interactions consistent with the values we claim to uphold? If you're wondering whether this matters in your personal life, consider this. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's treatment of a stranger changed your opinion of them? Maybe a friend you admired revealed a dismissive or entitled attitude toward a service worker. Did it make you question how they might treat you when circumstances change? These moments remind us that trust is built, not on grand gestures, but on the consistency of one's smallest actions. Let's shift perspectives for a moment. Imagine yourself as the server in the opening scene. How would you feel being dismissed like that? This thought experiment is a powerful Stoic tool. It helps us cultivate empathy. Marcus Aurelius himself often wrote about the importance of understanding others' experiences to better guide our actions. He might ask, "What is it like to stand in their shoes?" Practicing this kind of reflection can transform not just how we treat others, but how others perceive us. Now you might be thinking, but what about when someone treats me poorly? Should I repay them in kind? The Stoics would say no. Seneca emphasized that retaliation only lowers you to the level of the offender. Instead, he encouraged taking the high road, choosing actions that reflect who you are, not who they are. This doesn't mean tolerating mistreatment. It means responding with dignity and self-respect. So how can we apply this wisdom in our daily lives? Start small. Pay attention the next time you witness someone interacting with others in positions of less power. Are they polite, patient, or dismissive? Extend this observation to your own behavior. When you're rushing through a busy day, how do you treat the cashier, the delivery driver, or the stranger asking for directions? These moments might seem inconsequential, but they form the foundation of your reputation and, more importantly, your self-respect. Let's try a quick exercise. Think of the last 5 people you interacted with who couldn't benefit you in any way. How did you treat them? Were you rushed, indifferent, or genuinely kind? Reflect on whether your behavior aligned with the person you aspire to be. If it didn't, don't worry. Self-awareness is the first step toward change. But what about those around you? Observing how others behave in these situations can reveal more about their character than hours of conversation. A simple question to guide your observations: do their actions align with the values they claim to hold? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever witnessed an action, big or small, that changed your perception of someone for better or worse? Let's discuss and learn from each other. If this message resonates with you, remember that change begins with awareness. Make a conscious effort today to treat everyone with respect and kindness, regardless of their role in your life. As the Stoics teach us, true greatness lies not in power or recognition, but in how we choose to act when no one is keeping score. Feeling inspired? Share this insight with a friend who values integrity, or reflect on your own interactions. Let's commit to building a world where kindness isn't conditional, but a reflection of who we truly are. And if this guide has helped you see character in a new light, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, we can grow into the best versions of ourselves, one thoughtful action at a time. Step 2. How they react to adversity. Adversity, like a storm, often arrives uninvited, testing not just our strength but the very core of who we are. If Step 1 reminded us that character is revealed in the small moments, Step 2 pushes us to examine how people respond when life knocks them down. The way someone reacts to hardship can illuminate their values, mindset, and resilience in ways that success never could. Take the story of Sophie, a rising star in the world of professional athletics. With years of rigorous training behind her, Sophie was poised to claim her first major championship title. But just weeks before the competition, a severe knee injury derailed her dreams. In an instant, everything she had worked for seemed to crumble. Her competitors would move forward while she faced months of grueling rehabilitation and uncertain prospects. Many would have succumbed to bitterness or self-pity, yet Sophie approached her situation with remarkable composure. She told a journalist, "This injury isn't the end, it's just a new chapter. If I can't control what happened, I can at least control how I respond." These words echoed the wisdom of Epictetus. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Sophie channeled her energy into recovery, using the time to mentor younger athletes and study sports psychology. Her response didn't just reveal her strength, it redefined her purpose. Why does adversity hold such power to uncover character? Psychologists suggest that when people are under pressure, their defenses drop, exposing their true selves. Stripped of comfort and certainty, they must rely on their inner reserves, their principles, emotional intelligence, and resilience. The Stoics believed adversity to be a teacher, offering lessons that prosperity could never provide. Marcus Aurelius reflected, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Imagine for a moment that you're in Sophie's shoes. Would you respond with grace, or would frustration and anger cloud your judgment? Picture the small decisions you'd face daily, the choice to wake up early for therapy, the resolve to celebrate your friends' victories while enduring your own setbacks. These are the moments that forge character. Now, let's bring this closer to home. Think about someone in your life who has faced significant adversity. How did they respond? Did they crumble under the weight of challenges, or did they rise with quiet determination? Reflecting on these examples can teach us more than abstract theories ever could. If you've witnessed a response to hardship that inspired you, share it in the comments below. Your story might resonate with someone who needs encouragement today. But what about those who react poorly to adversity? Consider a colleague who, after being passed over for a promotion, spirals into negativity, spreading resentment throughout the team. Or a friend who, faced with rejection, retreats into self-doubt and lashes out at those trying to help. These responses don't just affect the individual, they ripple outward, impacting relationships and environments. This is why Epictetus emphasized personal accountability. We may not control external events, but we can always choose our reactions. At this point, you might be wondering, what if I've responded poorly to adversity in the past? Does that define me? The answer is no. Stoicism teaches us that every moment is an opportunity to begin anew. Mistakes are not failures, but stepping stones towards self-improvement. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." If you're willing to reflect, adapt, and grow, you can transform your setbacks into catalysts for change. Let's explore a lesser-known example, the story of Hayato, a craftsman in feudal Japan. After a devastating fire destroyed his workshop and years of work, Hayato's initial grief was overwhelming. But instead of giving in to despair, he saw the tragedy as an opportunity to rebuild stronger. He reimagined his designs, incorporating fire-resistant materials and creating innovative techniques that would influence his craft for generations. When asked about his resilience, he simply said, "The fire gave me a second chance to refine not just my art, but myself." Adversity, as Hayato's story shows, doesn't just test character, it shapes it. This perspective invites us to reframe our own challenges. What if the struggles you face are not barriers, but bridges? How might you grow if you embraced adversity as an opportunity for transformation? If you're ready to apply this lesson, start by observing how you and those around you react to difficulties. Ask yourself, does this person face setbacks with courage or avoidance? Do their words and actions reflect accountability or blame? Are they focused on solutions or consumed by the problem? Reflecting on these questions can deepen your understanding of character, yours and others. And if you're feeling inspired, why not take it a step further? Share one challenge you've overcome in the comments. How did it shape you? What did it teach you about yourself or others? By sharing, you might empower someone else to face their struggles with renewed strength. Before we move on to the next step, let's remember one key truth. Adversity isn't just a test, it's an invitation. It calls us to dig deeper, to uncover strengths we didn't know we had, and to act in ways that align with our highest values. So, the next time life throws you a curveball, pause and ask yourself, how do I want this moment to define me? If this message resonates, consider sharing it with someone who might need encouragement today. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, we can build a community that faces life's storms with wisdom, resilience, and the unshakable belief that, as the Stoics teach us, what stands in the way truly becomes the way. Step 3. What they do when no one is watching. In the quiet moments when no one is watching, true character reveals itself. If adversity tests resilience, then solitude tests integrity. What we choose to do in the absence of an audience speaks to who we are at our core, unfiltered by social expectations or external rewards. Imagine walking through a dimly lit park late at night and stumbling upon a wallet on the ground. The street is empty and no cameras are in sight. What do you do? For Emma, a struggling student working 2 part-time jobs to make ends meet, this wasn't just a hypothetical situation. It was a moment of truth. Inside the wallet, she found cash equivalent to a month's rent. She could have kept it and no one would have known, but instead, she chose to track down the owner. When asked why, Emma simply said, "It didn't feel right to take what wasn't mine. I wouldn't want someone to do that to me." Her decision mirrors the timeless wisdom of Seneca. A good character is one that does the right thing even when no one is watching. Stoicism teaches us that true virtue is self-sufficient. It doesn't depend on applause or recognition. It thrives in the silent spaces where decisions are made purely out of principle. But why does this matter so much? Psychologists explain that actions performed without external validation often reflect a person's genuine values. While public behavior may be influenced by social pressure or fear of judgment, private actions come from an internal compass. This is why the Stoics placed such emphasis on living in alignment with one's virtues, regardless of who is or isn't watching. Let's pause for a moment. Picture yourself in Emma's shoes. Would you return the wallet, knowing no one would find out if you didn't? Or would the temptation to keep it be too strong? These hypothetical scenarios aren't just mental exercises, they're windows into our values. What do they reveal about your character? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your perspective might inspire someone else to reflect on their choices. In our interconnected world, where social media highlights every good deed and accomplishment, the idea of acting virtuously without recognition might feel outdated. After all, doesn't visibility amplify impact? While public acts of kindness can inspire others, Stoicism reminds us to ask ourselves, would I still do this if no one knew? This question cuts to the heart of our motivations, separating genuine virtue from performative actions. Take the lesser-known story of James Harrison, an Australian man whose quiet decision saved millions of lives. For over 60 years, James regularly donated blood that contained a rare antibody used to create life-saving treatments for newborns. He didn't seek fame or recognition. His actions were driven solely by a sense of duty. When his story eventually became public, James humbly remarked, "I just thought it was the right thing to do." Stories like this challenge us to examine our own lives. What silent contributions do we make to the world? Are they rooted in selflessness or driven by a desire for validation? The next time you witness someone helping others without seeking acknowledgement, take a moment to reflect. How does their quiet humility make you feel? Have you ever been inspired by a similar act of unseen kindness? Share your story below. Let's celebrate the power of unsung heroes. Now, let's explore the psychology behind such behavior. Acting virtuously without an audience requires a strong moral foundation. It demands that we prioritize long-term values over short-term gains. But this isn't always easy. In a world that rewards visibility, how do we cultivate integrity in private moments? Marcus Aurelius offers a powerful reminder. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This advice calls us to shift our focus from appearances to actions, embracing virtue as its own reward. If you're wondering how to apply this lesson, start small. Pay attention to the little choices you make each day. Do you hold the door open for someone even when they're not likely to thank you? Do you pick up litter in a park knowing no one will notice? These seemingly insignificant acts build the foundation of your character. And as the Stoics teach us, character isn't formed in dramatic moments. It's shaped in the quiet, unremarkable decisions we make every day. Let's try a quick exercise together. Think of one action you've taken recently that no one knows about. Maybe it was helping a neighbor anonymously, or perhaps it was resisting the urge to take credit for someone else's work. Reflect on how it felt to do the right thing without recognition. Did it strengthen your sense of self? Share your insights in the comments. Your experience might resonate with someone grappling with a similar choice. And what about evaluating others? Observing someone's private actions can be difficult, but there are subtle clues. Do they follow through on commitments when no one is checking? Do they speak respectfully about others when those individuals aren't present? These quiet behaviors often reveal more about a person than their public persona ever could. As we conclude this step, remember that integrity isn't about grand gestures. It's about consistency. It's about doing what's right when there's no reward, no audience, and no recognition. Only the quiet satisfaction of knowing you've acted in alignment with your values. Feeling inspired? Start observing your own actions in moments of solitude. And if this guide resonates with you, why not share it with a friend who values integrity? Together, let's build a community of individuals who find strength in quiet virtues, creating a ripple effect of unseen goodness in the world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more insights on Stoicism and the power of silent character. Step 4. How they handle power and authority. Power is the ultimate mirror. It reflects not who we claim to be, but who we truly are. If adversity tests resilience and solitude tests integrity, then power tests humility. How someone wields authority, whether to uplift or oppress, reveals their core values and ambitions like no other circumstance can. Imagine a small coastal town on the brink of collapse due to economic hardship. Factories have shut down, unemployment has skyrocketed, and despair hangs heavy in the air. Enter Elena, the newly elected mayor. With a sharp intellect and a vision for transformation, Elena is handed the reins of authority in a time of crisis. She could have used her position for personal gain, signing lucrative contracts with private developers or building a political empire. Instead, Elena chose a different path. She redirected town funds to create skill training programs, collaborated with local businesses to provide jobs, and personally attended town meetings to listen to the residents' needs. When asked why she prioritized the community over her own interests, Elena responded with a simple truth: "I am here to serve, not to rule." Power isn't a privilege, it's a responsibility. Her words resonate deeply with the teachings of Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. By focusing on what she could control, her actions and intentions, Elena exemplified the Stoic ideal of leadership, using power to create value for others rather than oneself. But not everyone handles power with such grace. History and everyday life are rife with examples of those who let authority corrupt them. Think of a boss who micromanages, using their position to belittle rather than empower their team, Or a political leader who exploits their people for personal enrichment? What do these behaviors tell us? Psychologists argue that power doesn't corrupt, it reveals. When people gain authority, their true desires and values are amplified. For some, this leads to selfless leadership. For others, it unveils greed, insecurity, or a hunger for control. Take a moment to reflect. Have you ever observed someone in a position of power? How did they treat those beneath them? Did they empower others, or did they abuse their authority? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your observations might help others see leadership in a new light. Let's step into a scenario to illustrate this. Imagine a company CEO walking through their office unannounced. In one meeting room, they notice a junior employee struggling with a presentation. Instead of criticizing or ignoring the situation, the CEO sits down, offers constructive feedback, and even suggests ideas to strengthen the proposal. The junior employee, initially overwhelmed, leaves the interaction motivated and grateful. Now imagine a different CEO in the same scenario who dismisses the struggling employee, viewing their mistake as a weakness unworthy of attention. Which leader would you follow? Leadership like Elena's or the first CEO's demonstrates a rare understanding of power. It aligns with another teaching from Marcus Aurelius. The best way to avenge yourself is to not be like your enemy. Even when faced with temptation or opposition, those who use power with humility and focus on the greater good set themselves apart. To make this more tangible, let's explore a lesser-known historical example, the story of José Mujica, a former president of Uruguay. Unlike many world leaders who indulge in the luxuries of office, Mujica chose to live in a modest farmhouse, donating most of his salary to charitable causes. Despite his position, he drove an old Volkswagen Beetle and prioritized policies that benefited the nation's poorest citizens. When asked why he rejected the trappings of power, Mujica replied, "I'm not poor. Poor are those who always want more and more. My power is in serving." His leadership wasn't about titles or wealth. It was about making a meaningful difference. But what about those closer to us? Our managers, teachers, or even parents? Observing their use of authority can teach us much about their character. For instance, how does a teacher handle a disruptive student? Do they punish harshly to assert dominance, or do they use the moment to educate and guide? These subtle choices reveal their approach to power and their underlying values. If you're wondering how to evaluate someone's leadership, start with these questions. Do they treat their subordinates with respect or condescension? Do they focus on collective success or personal gain? Do they build trust or enforce fear? The answers to these questions can illuminate the kind of leader they truly are. And what about yourself? If you were given authority tomorrow, how would you wield it? Reflecting on these hypothetical situations can be a powerful exercise in self-awareness. As we explore the role of power in shaping character, it's crucial to remember that authority doesn't have to come with a title. In our daily lives, we often find ourselves in positions of influence, whether as parents, mentors, or community members. The Stoics teach us to approach these moments with humility and purpose. Epictetus reminds us, first, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. If this message resonates, take a moment to reflect on how you've seen power used in your life, positively or negatively. Share your experiences in the comments below. Let's learn from one another and strive to embody leadership that inspires rather than divides. To conclude this step, remember that power, like adversity, is a test. It doesn't make us better or worse. It simply amplifies who we are. So, the next time you witness someone in authority, pay attention. Are they using their position to serve or to dominate? And when your turn comes, How will you choose to lead? Feeling inspired? Share this guide with a friend or colleague who values leadership. Let's build a community of leaders who use power not for self-interest, but for the greater good. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights on Stoicism and the lessons it offers for modern life. Together, we can redefine what it means to lead with character, humility, and purpose. Step 5. How they spend their free time. Time, as the Stoics remind us, is our most precious resource. While we may not control the length of our lives, how we spend the time we have is entirely within our power, and nothing reveals a person's true priorities and character more than how they choose to use their free time. When the pressures of work and societal expectations fade away, what do they gravitate toward? For the Stoics, this was a critical lens through which to evaluate ourselves and others. Seneca's timeless wisdom resonates here. It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Free time in this context is not just a chance to relax, it's a reflection of our values. Whether we use it to learn, create, connect, or simply escape can offer profound insights into our character. Consider the story of Michael, a software engineer who spent his weekends volunteering at a local shelter. To his friends, it seemed like an unusual choice. After all, he worked long hours during the week, but for Michael, these hours of giving back were the highlight of his week. "It reminds me of what's truly important," he explained. "I could binge-watch TV shows or scroll endlessly on my phone, but helping others gives me a sense of purpose I can't find elsewhere." Michael's choice reflects a fundamental truth. How we spend our free time often aligns with our deepest values. Some use it to develop new skills, like learning a language or pursuing a creative hobby. Others might dedicate it to family, community service, or quiet reflection. Then there are those who let their time slip away in passive distractions, entertainment, social media, or habits that offer momentary pleasure but little fulfillment. These differences, though subtle, are significant. They reveal not only our priorities, but also our willingness to cultivate a life of meaning. Now, let's pause for a moment. How do you spend your free time? Imagine tracking every hour of your weekend. What patterns would emerge? Would they reflect the person you aspire to be? Or would you, like many of us, notice gaps between your actions and your intentions? Reflect on this for a moment, and if you're comfortable, share your thoughts in the comments. How does your use of time align or conflict with your values? For the Stoics, idle time was never wasted. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of aligning each action with a greater purpose. He might ask, "What are you doing with this moment? Is it contributing to the life you want to lead?" This isn't to suggest that every moment must be productive. Rest and leisure are essential, but rather that our choices should be intentional. Let's illustrate this with another story, one less conventional. Meet Layla, a graphic designer who, after a grueling work week, would retreat to her small garden. To an outsider, it seemed like an unremarkable hobby. But for Layla, tending to her plants wasn't just about relaxation. It was an act of mindfulness. "When I'm in the garden," she said, "I'm reminded of life's simplicity and the beauty of nurturing something over time." Through this quiet activity, Layla found clarity and joy, reflecting the Stoic ideal of finding meaning in the everyday. On the flip side, consider Sam, a corporate executive who spent his weekends chasing fleeting pleasures, lavish parties, excessive shopping, and superficial connections. While these activities offered temporary excitement, they left him feeling hollow. "I used to think I was living," Sam admitted, "but I realized I was just distracting myself." His turning point came when he began dedicating his weekends to writing, a childhood passion he'd long ignored. Through this shift, Sam rediscovered a sense of purpose that extended beyond the material. These contrasting examples highlight a key insight. Free time, more than any other part of our lives, reveals our essence. Without the constraints of obligations, we act on our instincts, gravitating toward what truly matters or what fills a void. Observing how someone spends their unstructured hours can tell you more about their character than any carefully crafted resume or polished public persona. How then can we evaluate ourselves and others through this lens? Begin by asking simple yet profound questions. What does this person choose to do when no one is requiring anything of them? Do their activities reflect growth, connection, or escapism? Are they using their time to align with their values or to avoid confronting uncomfortable truths? Your answers can provide valuable insights, not as a tool for judgment, but as a guide for self-awareness and growth. If you're inspired to apply this lesson, start small. Reflect on how you've spent your free time over the past week. Was it intentional? Did it bring you joy or meaning? If not, consider making small changes. Perhaps you could dedicate 30 minutes to a hobby you've always wanted to try, or set aside time to connect with a loved one. These shifts, though modest, can transform not only how you spend your time, but how you view yourself. Let's take this further with a community challenge. Share one meaningful way you've chosen to spend your free time. Was it an act of learning, like reading a book or mastering a skill? Or was it a moment of connection, like helping a neighbor or simply listening to a friend? Your story might inspire someone else to rethink their relationship with time. As we conclude this step, remember that time is not a resource we can replenish. Every choice we make in how we spend it shapes the story of our lives. So the next time you find yourself with a free afternoon, ask yourself, what do I truly value, and how can I honor that in this moment? If this message resonates with you, share it with someone who might need a reminder of time's preciousness. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more insights into living intentionally with Stoic wisdom. Together, let's build a community that values time, not as a commodity, but as the foundation of a meaningful life. Character isn't built in the spotlight, it's forged in the quiet, unremarkable moments when no one is watching. Over the course of this guide, we've uncovered 5 powerful lenses to understand someone's true nature: how they treat those with no power, their reactions to adversity, the actions they take in solitude, their use of power and authority, and how they spend their free time. Together, these elements create a vivid picture of one's inner values, far more revealing than words or appearances ever could. But now it's your turn. Which of these 5 traits resonates most with you? Perhaps you've seen a friend handle adversity with grace, or maybe you've observed how a leader's use of authority revealed their priorities. How will you start observing these traits in the people around you, and more importantly, in yourself? Reflect on these questions and let them guide your journey to a deeper understanding of character. If this guide has sparked new insights or challenged your perspective, why not share it with someone who might benefit? Together, we can create a ripple effect of reflection, growth, and meaningful connection. And before you leave, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. By joining our community, you're committing to a life guided by wisdom, integrity, and purpose. Hit the like button, share this video, and let's build a movement of individuals striving to live virtuously, one thoughtful action at a time. Your journey doesn't end here, it's just beginning. What will your next action reveal about your character?